Hi everybody, Melissa Lind here again. I thought I would just go through the journal piece by piece. You can also read through the website information, but if you're a video person, here you go. First off, the design was intentionally made very quiet because I want it to be a meditation. So this first little moth imprint on the cover is meant as kind of a meditation point. So when I'm thinking about what I want to write, I rub my thumb over that. And then when you open the journal, it has a glossary and it has space for you to add a page number. So say there was a birth in the family or a big trip to Europe or whatever it was, something that was important. You can write down what it was and the page so you can reference it later. And then there's a daily routines section, and the daily routines were made because I turned 40 a couple years ago, and I started to have sort of a midlife crisis kind of episodes where I was really wondering what my purpose was, and I was having these super bummer days, and so I started to keep track of them to see if there was something to do with diet or sleep or exercise. And it really helped me to kind of analyze, one, I wasn't having as many bad days as I thought I was, and two, when I give myself a 6 out of 10 and I look back over that when I was having an okay day, I thought, I would never let myself get a D in school. Why would I do that in life? So I started giving myself a 10 no matter how I was feeling. And somehow that helped. It was like, no, you're not going to have a 6 day today. It's going to be a 10 day. And so it has space for what I've been using is, how did I sleep? Did I need to take a sleeping pill to get there? Did I exercise today? How was my diet? Was it a family day? And then I would keep track of it. Was I having my period? And then on some days, I'd write sick if I was sick on a certain day, and it helped me to recognize patterns and more regulate how I was feeling instead of just letting myself get into a despondent space when I didn't need to be necessarily. Inspired values and aspirations. I had a couple really good business lessons where I was doing things not because I valued them, but because I thought they would get me a certain place, and that was a really good lesson. So now I make sure that I identify what my personal values are, what my vocational values are first, and then I identify the goals that go with them, so that when I'm working towards something, I'm working towards something with heart, and then I don't end up with something that I'm like, how did I create this? This has nothing to do with what I really believe in. Touchstones is the next section, and these are an area where you can give yourself a 1 to 10 on relationships, fitness, health, vocation, finances, spirit, and just to see where you are and see where you could use some more improvement to move forward. And then when you're done with this journal and start on the next quarter, then you can look back at these and say, how was I able to help myself to move in a positive direction in any of these subjects? And then there's a goal section. So you've got a 3-month goal, a 6-month, 9, and year goal. And for me, I didn't know all of these in the beginning, so I just filled them out lightly and moved on. And then there's the journal section. There's 2 pages for every day, and it starts out with I'm grateful for, and a question, and then the answer. And the idea for that is I have found, kind of just stumbled on it really, that if I was looking for an answer on something and I wrote it down or I held it in my mind, that oftentimes when I let myself write, that the answer would come out, and it's almost magical that like it didn't even come from me. And I found that to be very helpful. So that was the main key of this journal, was just to have these prompts that's like tuning an instrument before you start to play. So it has a date, and then these wonderful quotes, and then at the very bottom, a little check for inspired action. And for me, that's what I'm really looking to do, is to take more inspired action, because I'm a little tired of the hustle. I want to be doing things that I'm really aligned with. And it's got some check-in points at month 1 and month 2, reflections when you get to those points. And that's the whole bit. I would love your feedback on this. We've printed 100, and for the next printing, if you have used it and have any testimonials, we would love that. And if you have any suggestions on how to improve it for the future, that would be great too. Thank you so much. Cheers.